guess what's next? I get to talk. Guess what? I have the message today. All right. And guess what it's about? Anybody know?
Love.
Love. Making way for love. Making way for love. Retired counselor, psychotherapist, author of 24 books, and unofficial writing coach, Adolfo Quezada writes, "You dare not gaze upon the radiance of the sun with naked eyes, lest you are blinded by its astronomical brightness. But you are able to look at the solar luminosity directly when it is reflected off the face of the moon. Similarly, he suggests, you can receive the omnipotent love of God as it reflects off your soul. Your soul and all living souls receives God's love and reflects it to the world. You are the moon, you are the courier of God, you are love." So, we're reflecting, currying, and channeling God's love. We want to be as clear a conduit as we can, provide a clean and clear reflection, and be the free-flowing courier to God's love. We want to be loved, we want to share love, we want to have love, to experience the pursuit of love, the mission of love, the purpose, the calling, and the point of love. One of my 20 million pages here. Just kidding. We want to do love and be love. A clear lens, an open heart, and a free mind. For most of us, that means that we need to make way for love. Making way for love means beginning self-awareness, and which leads to letting go, a Lenten experience. So guess what we're in now? The Lenten season. But this is something we should do all year. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
So we're letting go of sad to be glad, angry to find peace, and fear for love. What holds us back? I have this. How many have heard of Hugh Prather? Oh, quite a few, okay. So this is his book called The Little Book of Letting Go. And he says, we all feel the call to be simple, present, and real. Yet, the world urges us the lack of those things. And he says, encourages us instead to resent the past, be anxious about the future, be hungry for things we don't see, be guilty, important, bored, and right. So Prather writes about how couples fight over dirty socks left on the floor, but yet those very same dirty socks are a heavenly toy to a puppy or a cat. We can make way for love, Prather writes, by letting go of our pattern of reactions. And think of this as your go-to reaction, what you first do without thinking about it. So our pattern of reaction, we're going to let go of these things: difficulties, fear of letting go, fear of happiness, mental pollutants, victim perception, useless blocks, rigid responses, blame, scattered thinking. What? Perfection, worry, and gloom. I have a question for you. Any of you know the song by Buck Owens and Roy Clark? Gloom, despair, and agony on me. And now, anybody ever watched the Hee Haw show, or was had to, forced to, or just liked it? Gloom, despair, and agony on me. I'm surprised, Dave, Amy, you can't sing that whole song. Now, it's a bluegrass song played to a bluegrass beat. So we don't want any of those things, do we? So we let go. We're letting go. And when we let go, we also disarm, relax, and listen. We disarm and relax judgment. So I have another prop. How many of you have heard of Dr. Gerald Jampolsky? There you go. And he wrote this book called Love is Letting Go of Fear, which is based off A Course in Miracles. And he suggests that today I will judge nothing that occurs. So affirmations are good. And also, eliminations. There's power in affirmations as well as eliminations. And so he suggests this list of limiting words, letting go of these as part of this, I today will judge nothing that occurs. And these are what we're going to let go of. Impossible, can't, try, limitation, if only, but, however, difficult, ought to, should, doubt. Any words that place us or anything else in a category, like us versus the beanbags. No? Okay. Any words that tend to measure or evaluate us or other people. Any words that tend to judge or condemn us or someone else. So when we disarm, relax, and listen, we give the gift of attention. What is here? And I have a book. Just got this book the other day from Adolfo, and it's called Gift of Love. It's his latest book, and it's about attention. And he says here, our capacity to pay attention is a gift of love from God. And attention is the topic of my talk on the 22nd. We give the gifts of attention as well as full engagement. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm going to check my email here. I got a new phone, so I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm sorry, just a second. So really, we want to give full engagement, not like I just did. So we want to have presence of self. We want to, as Jampolsky talks about, expanding our sense of now. And listen, being to being, not being, but being to being, being to being. Author Judith Vorst wrote, "Separateness is sweet, but connection with someone outside yourself is surely sweeter." Being to being. Letting go is also forgiving, isn't it? So the Dalai Lama reminds us that forgiveness doesn't mean we forget about what happened. We're not saying we approve. We're saying, I'm not carrying this anymore. I lay it down. I let it go. I let it go for me. I let it go for all concerned. Bam. No electric charge. No more tight gut. We disarm, relax, and let go. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore wrote, "True forgiveness is only established through renewing of the mind and body with thoughts and words of truth." And in the translation of the name of the Hawaiian practice of forgiveness, which is Ho'oponopono, the translation is to correct, like a course correction. That doesn't sound very scary. Like correcting a thought or a belief. I got to share something on myself here. When I was a kid, growing up in Missouri, where some of the folks said Missouri, I always heard the term styrofoam. And my grandpa would give coffee to the fishermen that came out to Happy Hollow Lake that they had, and they would share this coffee. And the same cup was styrofoam, and I would look at it, and it had stars all over it. It was filled with stars. It was like the injectors themselves were injecting, and they manufactured the cup, all these little stars. And so I never questioned one time that it wasn't called styrofoam. And you know, I was a young adult before I found out it was actually styrofoam. And I tried to justify my styrofoam with all the little star story, but they weren't having it because it turns out not all of them have stars. And so, yes, I had to let go and change and correct that thought. I still say styrofoam though, don't I? Yeah. It's also a practice of forgiveness is also putting to right, revising, adjusting, and editing. This practice is done, they say in the Hawaiian practice, to maintain good relations with family and with God. Did you know that part? Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore wrote, "Forgiveness is the art of putting something in its place of the thing forgiven. You may have read this in the Daily Word last week, which is where I got it. That's something else that we're putting ourselves right, like today's Daily Word was talking about, and really realizing that God is active and alive in our lives and being. Writer, how many know or remember writer and actor Peter Ustinov? Okay, he wrote this, which I was impressed to see. Love is an active, endless forgiveness, a tender look, which becomes a habit. I love that. So we make way for love by letting go with willingness as well. We want to have willingness in our life. Willing to be willing, if that's all you can do, to allow love to thaw the frozen rivers of our overprotected hearts. By practicing, as the Dalai Lama teaches, patience, tolerance, and compassion, and toward ourselves and others. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll see you at that workshop Saturday. Kahlil Gibran wrote, "Everyone has experienced that truth, that love, like a running brook, is disregarded, taken for granted. But when the brook freezes over, then people begin to remember how it was when it ran, and they want it to run again." We thaw our frozen rivers, like that, to allow love, to free love from fear. We want to free our love from fear. We want to thaw those frozen rivers and be, what? A free-flowing river of love. And the world needs more validation, appreciation, and love, right? And guess what? So do we. We do too. So let's bring the love. Let's bring the love for ourselves and for everyone. And I offer this affirmation. Let's say it as if it were all of us. We fully and freely release and let go all that which blocks our own good. Love freely flows through us and into the world now. Want to read that again? Okay. We fully and freely release and let go all that which blocks our own good. Love freely flows through us and into the world now. And so it is. And now if you'd like to prepare for meditation with Ms. Helen Wright.
So taking a moment to center yourself, focus on your breathing, the in-breath and the out-breath, releasing any tensions. Bringing your awareness to yourself, to your heart, and if you'd like to, maybe even putting your hands by your heart. And just breathing into your heart. Feeling love. And feeling your heart as your center of your being. And love grows and expands. First into love of self, the holy, sacred love of self, valuing yourself, your love, that can then flowing out to your friends, your neighbours. This love growing and expanding, free flowing like a mighty river, and gentle with compassion. This love grows, it envelops this whole sanctuary in a bowl or a basket of love. It's spilling out into the world, encircling the world and beyond. This love of God, this oneness, when we weave ourselves and our love together, this love becomes far bigger, is the love of God in us, through us, and as us. We gently take a moment as we enter into the silence, gently focusing on your heart and that love, that free-flowing power of love. For a moment in the silence. And then as we gently bring our awareness back to our being, our physical being in this room, and as we gently open our eyes, I invite you to open your eyes with new eyes, with the eyes with love flowing through your eyes to everything you see, everything you perceive, and everything you feel.